Well, today I've come out to a location which is somewhere that I don't normally come. This is somewhere I found the other day. So I'm going to these out of the way. There we go. Makes it a little bit more comfortable. And the whole purpose of today's video is to just sit down and enjoy a nice cup of tea and a good breakfast, courtesy of the Kettle. Yeah. Now, I've done a video on one of these before. I'm just going to run through a few things again. First off, whoever invented this whistle for the Kettle, well done. That's one of the best things you ever did. It's fantastic. Occasionally in life, you find products that are absolutely pinnacle of their design and function. This is one of them. Yeah. This thing boils water so fast. Basically, it's going to sit on here like this. Just make sure that's stable. Once that's got water in it, don't want that moving. Now, one of the things that you will find with a Kettle is when people put their hand over here to lift it, the flames are coming out of here. Don't do that, that's really bad. So, I will show you what I've done. I've attached a small, one of these really cheap carabiner things on the back here, and a loop, and attach that to here, so that when you're lifting this on and off, pouring your water, you can do this. Your hands don't, and it actually makes it, you can actually tip it one-handed. It's actually really easy, you can tip it one-handed, it's not a problem. But I prefer to actually do it this way. You can tip it and pour your water up. Something very important with the Kettle is to make sure that you never put this on here empty. So, first thing you're going to need is some water. Now I'm going to say again, same as I always do, fire safety is number one. No matter what you do in life, whatever you're using, fire safety is number one. Whether it's a cigarette end, a bloody green campfire, whatever, fire safety is number one. So, always make sure you've got water. So, I have two of these with me today. I also have that. I have my fire bucket with me, and I also have an amazing source very, very close to where I am. That's got water in there. Bugs out. Next thing you're going to need is to build your fire. Now these things, pellets, anything that burns really, sticks, pellets, you know, they'll burn. So in here, I have an abundance of wood pellets I want to get rid of. Anybody that knows that I have an abundance of these things. I'm not in my usual location. I prefer to be out in the mountains. I'm not out there at the moment. I have a bunch of old receipts which I chuck in the bottom there. Just get things going. And get a healthy coating of wood pellets. Place. So that should be enough to get this going. And as always, trusty cotton balls. Can't get a fire going with cotton balls. That's really hot. So I'll push that down in there a little touch. That should be enough. As I just mentioned, fire safety is number one. Whatever you do, whenever you light a fire, your responsibility. Whatever it does, it's your responsibility. So, today's wood source, I have cut up some small, it's too local. I have an abundance of this. I suspect 2 or 3 of these would actually be plenty to keep going. That's what I'm going to do. So always make sure before you get a fire going that you have all your materials ready to go before you light it. Otherwise, say you're in a situation where you haven't got much kindling, you get a fire going. Yeah, the fire's raging. You've burnt all your kindling, but you haven't cut up enough wood yet to get the fire going. So, kind of a waste of time at that point. In here, I have my cup. And I don't have my axe with me today, but I do have this. My little Mora bushcraft. I love this thing. It's very good for what it does. What I need is 2x4. Now I could use a rock just to bash these, but I don't want to be hitting my knife with a rock, so you'll find that this actually works very, very well. Let's process up some of them blocks. Kettle, you do not need a vast amount. You really don't. These size chunks. Now I cut these. I use these on my stove as well. What I do is I take a 2x4 and I cut them into 3-inch blocks. And 3 inches is about finger's length. So if you cut these up for the Ohuhu stove, you can just cut them, put a few splits in them, stick them in the Ohuhu stove, stood upright. I can tell you now, they actually burn very well. And this stuff, you can't split wood any easier than that. You really can't. It's absolutely amazing. So, yes, I could use one of these rocks, but I really don't want to damage my knife. So, I'll just do it this way instead. Easy, isn't it? And that should be more than enough. Put that away. Fantastic little knives. These are really strong. People always complain, it's not a full tang knife, and I hear this bushcraft garbage all the time. A full tang knife is very, very strong. If you use this knife for what it was designed for, in the way it was designed to be used, you will never have a problem. Simple as that. If you abuse it, like if I start bashing the back of this knife with this rock, yeah, I'm going to damage the knife. Why would you do that? That back in there. Most important thing, of course, make sure you have your tea and everything. My tea, coffee, and a snack for later. Yeah, so let's get this underway. I'll get some plugs and land on the cotton wool. Oh, did we get it? Yes, we did. Always make sure you secure the tools afterwards. Especially in this location because it is gravel. This is all gravel down here. So we will put a few little bits of this going. Make sure this is nice and stable before it gets hot. Just make sure that will stand on there. Don't flop over. Oh, that's perfect. Get a few small pieces going. Yeah. We'll give you a closer look at what we've got on the go here. See? Simple, isn't it? Don't get much easier than that. So let's set this back up over here for you. Nice. I must admit, this new camera I'm using, this is the Osmo 6, the action one, and I actually love this thing. I don't have to worry about battery life or anything. I filmed 4K 30 a little while ago, solid for an hour. Didn't have any problems with battery whatsoever. And when I got home, I thought, I'll just check the battery state and just see how much power there is in it. I still had 66% battery. With my GoPro for the same trip, I would have been probably 2 or 3 batteries in, yeah, easily. So, let me tell you, that camera is a game changer. So we are creating a bit of heat. Now when you put this on the top, this acts like a little rocket stove. So I can tell you now, it will boil a litre of water very quickly. So I'm going to do this in real time. I'm going to make a sit over the edge there. So let's see how quickly the flames come out the top. See that? Right, if you put your hand over there, if you don't have this little hook on the side, you will burn your hand. So I need to pay attention. Get my teacup sorted. Guys, this will be oil faster than you might think. So that's going to be my table. There we go. Like I say, don't ever put one of those kettles on there without water in it, because you will damage it. But it's such an amazing tool, it really is. It doesn't weigh a great deal. For whatever reason, I bought all the plates and all that other stuff with me today. I didn't check it and bring it out. And I have everything in there. I don't need everything. Make sure I don't spill any of my breakfast. Goodness. Good thing with the whistle, I don't know who invented the whistle on there, but that was absolutely priceless. As always, make sure you take the game chain with it. One thing about rocks is they're not very comfortable to sit on, which is why I have I have this bag here. So I bought all this extra wood with me. That lot, no chance of that. What I do need is a more comfortable chair. So we can add some layers when as possible. I do have more in here, but I don't really mind. I don't mind sitting on the rock. I just move out the lucky bits. But yeah. Now, when this is running, you can just drink. Drop done. And that's the advantage of using short pieces of wood. I see people using long sticks. They'll take long broken sticks and they'll put them in the top. And when they lift the fire off, or when they lift the kettle off, they now have a problem, and the problem is all the sticks will fall out. You know, they just do this, and then you can't put it back on. So I see a lot of videos done like that. So me, when I'm processing wood for coming out to places, I cut these little 3-inch blocks. And it's just a piece of 2x4 cutting a 3-inch length. That's all it is. This stuff is bone dry. You haven't got to start cutting up bits of trees to find fuel and all this other kind of stuff. You just don't need to do that. You just need these. Yeah. Looks good there. Yeah. Right. Yes. Doesn't get much easier than this. Can do if you have a it's starting to hiss already. What you can do if you have a bag like this is put your blanket and everything in the bag. I've got way too much wood with me. There we go. I can actually hear that starting to hiss. So that was a litre of water I put in there. So we will see how she does. Yeah, the kettle comes in a nice bag like this, but it also comes with all the pots and pans, all this other stuff. For whatever reason, I carried all this down here with me. The thing to me that was a game changer, as you'll see in one of my other videos, is this. This is what they call the hobo stove attachment. You can put this on the top and use this as a grilling platform for your pots, pans and plates, and it comes in plates. For whatever reason, I bought that lot with me today. I don't need it. It just lives in a bag. In here also comes with a Kettle. Is the little grill thing, the pot handle, using a pot. But I bought my other one with me today, which has what's names on it? Has handles on it anyway. So that all comes with the kettle. This one is the 1.2 litre, There's a 1.6 litre, like the camp kettle, I think they call that. And then there's the little, the hiking one, which is 0.6 of a litre. To me, this is the perfect size. It really is. I bought one of these pots with me because it's got a built-in handle. I've got so many pots and pans, it's not fun. Well, better to have too many or none. Yeah. Now, I don't know if you can hear the fire. Oh, here we go. That is priceless. Like I say, do not put your hand over the top to lift this off. Take that off of there. 2 hands. Pour my coffee. Job done. Now I'm going to have some noodles a little bit later. I'll put that on there. So always push this in loosely. You don't need to push that in tight. Not at all. Now I can. Down here, 3 lumps of rocks. Nice spoon. I didn't remember to bring a spoon this time. I have extra tea bag. Some noodles, I'm going to do some noodles a bit later. Very important when you make tea or anything like that. You have to stir it. Let's get that out of your way so you can actually see. There. This is how you make tea. You stir it 3 times. Tap the spoon on the side 3 times. 3 times only. Not once, not twice, but thrice. Like that. Very important. That's how you make correct tea. Or in this case, coffee. Yeah. That's one. The only thing making stuff and putting it in metal cups, I do have with the Kettle. It's a good point. Where are my Kettle cups? That's there as well. Yes, they are. Look at that. So I didn't need to bring that cup because I do have these. These cups come with it, and they have these wonderful little mouth guard pieces that go on the side. They are absolutely fantastic, those things. Yes, I was definitely not paying attention. I put all this lot together this morning, most definitely not. It does all fit together. I actually find it easier with the storage bag. Put it in there upside down. But either way, I'll sit here now. I'll enjoy this. Oh, yes, very nice. Yeah, the sun's just coming up. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. The sun's just coming up behind me here. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. The city is waking up. I'm wondering how many of those wood pellets are burning. Is that a reason for bringing a mountain spoon? I have my plastic ones. The advantage of these, of course, stir this around a little bit here and make sure it burns all the way through. Got extra carbon for my tea. Yes, the only thing that's not comfortable is leaning on those. So we will remove those. Yeah. Now, I can tell you now, they are remarkably efficient for wood. You look at when I do the noodles in a moment, it boils water so fast. I don't worry about keeping the water hot because it gets hot real fast. Yeah. Oh, yes, very nice. Way to start the day. Now with the GoPro, in my other videos, you will see that I'm forever stop, start. And the reason for that is to save battery. Yeah. On this thing, on the Osmo, I don't have to do that. It's absolutely brilliant. I can actually film everything in real time. I don't have to worry about it because it just works. Yeah. Which is what I want. I did buy the little small rig cage thing to go around it, just so it doesn't get bashed around quite so much. And the thing I like about the small rig is it does have the attachments, like the quarter thread attachments, so I can put it on tripods, little lights and stuff. You can just put all that on there and you don't have to worry about it. It's absolutely brilliant. The hobo stove attachment, if you put that on there now, you can actually just use this for cooking now. It's brilliant. I did a video, it was minus 25, minus 29, I guess, when I first got this thing, an exploratory look at it. And I can tell you now, yeah, with my hot water bottle and boiling up water for this thing, absolute game changer. If you were doing a backpack and you had a whole bunch of people you were going, say a multi-day backpack with 4 or 5 people, it would be well worth having somebody have this in their pack and use that for boiling all the water for everybody, because it boils it so fast. Yes, it's a little bit heavier, but if you take out all the pots and pans and stoves and crap that everybody would be carrying in, say, a 5-person group, it doesn't come even close to what this thing weighs. This thing is like nothing, you know. It's by anything. This is the stainless steel version. Now they do an aluminium version and they do a stainless steel version. The difference in weight is so minimal, it's not even worth worrying about. What I do see is I've actually bought way too much wood with it, way too much. But I don't like just collecting up on just things, areas and stuff. Areas like this need as much organic matter as they can get. They don't need me in here burning it. Not when I've got access to just so much bloody fibre. It's just ridiculous. Yeah. And of course, the remains of my 40-pound bag of pellets. When I first got the Aug stove, I bought one of those big 40-pound bags of pellets, thinking I'd get through it pretty fast. However, the Aug stove and the Kettle are so efficient that it's actually lasted years. I bought that bag in 2019 and I'm still using it to this day. Insane, isn't it? It's actually very nice down here. It's not a bad spot. I'm still fairly close to the city, so you might hear city noises in the background. But, I was heading out to the mountains today, but we've had torrential rains out there in the mountains. And one of the places I wanted to go, the road is actually washed out, so they're going to have to rebuild that again. Yeah. We keep telling them that that piece of road needs sorting out and decent culverts and stuff put in there, and they keep fixing the road and fixing it. Just fix it properly first time, and then you don't have to worry about it again. Yeah. You can keep putting a band-aid on something, but eventually, you know, if you've got a wound, you need to put a decent bandage on it, otherwise, you know, you could be in trouble. As you can see, this thing burns for a very considerable period of time. Have my camping cup. It's a really good camping cup. I like this camping cup. I've had more comments about this camping cup, but all it says on here is life is better around the campfire. A friend of mine got this. There you go. A friend of mine does a lot of thrift store stuff, and they were out in a thrift store and they found this cup, and they thought, oh, David like that, yeah. And yesterday she had a t-shirt on, and it was a picture of a kettle with a British flag on it, and it was tea, as in cup of tea, shirt, And I thought, priceless. I wish I thought of that, because that's actually really, really clever. I've got to keep an eye out for one of those. I've told them if they see another one, grab me one. Early morning coffee, can't beat it. Right. What we do need is something like that. It's not like a box. No. And we're going to need make some breakfast. For breakfast, we're having noodle surprise. Surprise is there's just noodles with a bag of magic goodness in it. Just no particular brand or whatever, just those are the ones I usually get. One of the main reasons is that my local store at the moment, these are 38 cents a pack. So I would take those. Yeah. That is for sure. I find these packs a little bit pain in the rear end to open. So I actually prefer to do it this way. Garbage. There should be a nice little packet of mystery goodness in here, whatever that is. I find with these packs, if you just tear them, sometimes they just go whoosh. The plastic tears very, very quickly. Put that in there. You'll notice everything's in Ziplocs. That's just the way I like to do it. Yeah. Chuck a couple more chunks in here. Get that back in there. Okay. That's why I put this chain on the handle like this. Because if you put your hand over the top of there, and I've seen people do it, they will put their hand over there and then just instantly whoosh. Yeah. The orange in the bottom here is huge. Mystery goodness into the noodles. Apparently, allegedly, that's beef flavour. One thing I do like about noodles, I'm out in the mountains, there's salts in there and all kinds of crap. It's a cheap, easy, very light meal. Very easy to make. As I was saying earlier, this is actually a really good knife. It does have a sharpener on here. I don't really use that sharpener much because I have a professional sharpener at home, and this one is, I can tell you this one is sharp. And the back is fine, I keep that nice and sharp. This one does have a ferro rod attached to it, and as always, what I do is I put one of these elastics, you know the elastics that ladies use in their hair and stuff, put one of these on there, put a couple of twists in it, just hook that over there. I know this is very hard to pull out of there, and you're not likely to lose it. If you're out in the middle of nowhere, and this is one of your only, and I say one of your only ways of lighting the fire, always make sure you have multiple ways, especially around here. In the middle of winter, if you can't light the fire, it can be deadly. So you don't want to lose that. So one of those little hair ties that come in your hair, just take one of those, hook it over the end, job done. Fits on there. I did put some tape on here. This is on here for two reasons. The stripes stand out better than just the bright orange. So there we go. I'll get back to that in a minute. That's hot, by the way. That's funny. I want this about half full. About there somewhere. Yes. When you take this off, remember it's hot. Just like I just did. Oops. Yeah. Right. As I was saying, stripes, the black and the orange stripes. If this was just pure orange, yes, it stands out, but stripes, humans are very attuned to stripes. You look at a wasp or a hornet or something. It's got stripes on there for a reason, because it really does stand out and it sticks in the human mind. The other thing is, I also have my phone number on here, and I was making a video once and I was talking about this night and the rest of it, and somebody said to me, you do realise they can see your phone number on here, so I had to delete that part of the video. So yeah, so if I lose it or whatever, I do have phone number on here, so that's the other reason that the tape's on there. Very, very handy. Very handy. Canadian Air Force coming in to land over there. And gone further up. Yeah, okay. Right, spoon. Spoon. Got it there. Okay. This is the only thing we've been like this. Yeah, we got to push everything. So there's no fancy editing in my videos. So what you see is what you get. I put my spoon down somewhere, didn't I? Cleaned my spoon off. I put it down somewhere. Oh, there it is. I thought I put it there. It's in the garbage. I would like to put things back where I know where they are. So, right, let's break up my mystery goodness noodles. So in terms of the amount of wood that I've used in there, I have put, I would estimate one of these blocks in there, one, and probably 3 or 4 handfuls of wood pellets. So I'm just going to leave that to go, maybe a little bit more, maybe 1.5 of these blocks. And I bought about 10 of them with me. God knows why. All this up. I tell you now, I don't know who's though, if you cut them up into pieces like this and you stand them upright, that's the secret with the hoo-hoo stove, by the way. Stand these things upright. Don't lay your pieces of wood down in an hoo-hoo. You can't stand them up in here very well, so they just fall over. But yeah, I can tell you now, that's for a very long time. Yeah. So, I'm going to see if I can, without kicking everything over. There we go. There's no fancy editing in these videos. You see what you get. I'm not one of these YouTube people that has to film everything from 25 different angles to make it look like they're filming from multiple cameras and all the rest of it. They're not. They're filming from one camera. They just splice it all together at the end. You hear all these content creators doing this, that and everything else. I saw recently there's a big blurb at the moment because firstly you need to be monetized on YouTube, you need 1,000 subscribers, but I only have 500 some odd. You need 4,000 hours a year of watch time, of which I only have, I think last year I did 12 or 1,300 hours of watch time, something like that. And now they've changed it to 8,000 hours. So the chances of my channel ever being monetized on YouTube is just about zero. And I think that's one of the reasons they've done it, because there's so many people now just producing what I call rubbish content. And a lot of it is AI. The actual people like myself that go out and make actual videos in actual locations is dwindling. There's an estimate that 2/3 of all social media is nothing but either bots or AI. Well, when you have a computer that can generate content and you send it out to people, I've seen some of those channels, and they've got 100,000 subscribers. Well, how much of that is genuine? How much of that is real? The advertising companies. What funds YouTube obviously is advertising. Simple as that. No advertising, there is no YouTube. So the advertisers have cottoned onto this. They know that a lot of that stuff that's out there is absolute garbage. It's just complete rubbish, and people aren't going to watch it. And they've come up with this solution of upping the ante, if you want, so that the content that is out there is real. Nobody wants all this AI content. If I click on a channel and I'm watching a video and I start hearing AI voices, as soon as I hear that AI voice that's reading something, like in Calgary, the river that runs through Calgary is called the Bow River. Bow, as in bow tie river, right? Whenever some AI piece of crap reads, they always call it the Bow River. And I'm like, as soon as I hear that, turning it off, never watching that channel again. I have a list that I keep of channels that I am never watching again, because it's all garbage. It's absolute bloody rubbish. There are some really good channels out there that make really good content. But oh my god, is there ever an abundance of crap out there? So yeah, let's just see how well these are done. These are good. Like I say, with my channel, what you see is what you get. There's no fancy editing. That's really good. And this is just early morning breakfast with Dave and a review on the Kettle. I can honestly say I don't like to do what I call product placement garbage, in the hope that some company will come along and say, hey, here's a bunch of free stuff. People do, and I see it quite often. I will recommend products that work, and the Hoo stove works. There are several versions of gasifier stoves. I just happen to have the Ohu. There are some out there that are just as good, some that are better. But I can tell you the Ohu works really well. The Kettle is, to me, I mean, that's a pinnacle of design. If you look at some pieces of engineering, if you look at a bicycle, for instance, or whatever, you know, they are at the pinnacle of their design and engineering. And so is this. There's very few changes you can make to that would improve it. To me, they added the Cocoa stove, which was the game changer. I don't like carrying lots of duplicate kit. Considering these are just cheap noodles, it's actually very good. Paint and cut. There we go. Well, you can do it. Yes. Like I say, not overly nutritious. And you certainly wouldn't want to live on them for a very long time. However, what I can tell you is for 38 cents a pack, they actually make not a bad little breakfast. Make sure that's good. Yeah. Where I'm currently sitting, this is all sand and gravel and rock, so I'm not worried about any catching fire on there. I just want to make sure we're not going to blow any embers out of there or whatever. I have the hobo stove top piece, which I can put on there, and it does actually make, not only is it really good for cooking, it also makes a really good wind guard around there. It helps keep the wind off the fire. Whoever came up with that hobo stove attachment, brilliant. I'll tell you now, that is exactly the reason that I bought it. I didn't really have an everyday use for just a kettle to boil water, but the kit with the hobo stove turns it into a complete system, and that was what sold it to me. Yeah, these Kelly kettles have been around forever, but, however, the ability to use the hobo stove and the kettle for producing water. You saw how fast this thing boils water. That's a litre of water. I mean, I didn't have a big fire in there. It's a fairly small fire. Yeah. One thing I will say is when you put that on there, you put that on the top, it acts like a little rocket stove. And the air hole that's at the front here, if you turn that round into the wind, when you've got that on the top, it's like a bloody furnace in there. It really is, it's insane. It's just bright orange and really ripping. Yeah. Fantastic design, it really is. This is the way to make breakfast. It really is. So total cost. Total cost, breakfast and coffee, is about 60 cents. Can't get better than that, can you? Yeah. Those little coffee pack, those little coffee pack things that I get, they're very cheap. When I say these noodles are currently 38 cents. Coffee and breakfast for 60 cents. I love that. Packs of mystery flavour obviously have some kind of salts in them or whatever. So if you're at the mountains, the salts aren't bad. I was going to head out there today. I might go tomorrow instead. So I do know that one of the roads that they go down out there is flooded again. We have had some wicked bloody rainstorms. And our usual thunderstorms with golf ball sized hail. Yeah. There we are. Coffee and breakfast, courtesy of the Kettle. Now I could do the bushcrafty bit. I'll go and wash all this stuff up in the river. However, looks good on camera, but it's not really practical. But not something I really need to do. go. And there it was. Way too much wood. The good thing is I have a little bit of water left in here, which once this is finished doing the stuff, we'll use that to fire up. I do have, as always, in here, this is my collapsible water bucket. I bought this from our friends in China, and I looked at some other makes from various places, and I can tell you now, a lot of them were the very heavy canvas ones, the fire buckets. This thing was 20 bucks. What does it say? All it says is fogging bucket 20 litres. I couldn't even remember the name of the company that made it. But I can tell you now, I have filled this thing. Realistically, I mean the volume in this bucket, I suspect when you measure it, is exactly 20 litres. Realistically, you can put about 15 in this and still carry it, and it's strong. I have put this thing in a full-on flowing river, hanging on the handles to see if I could actually tear the handles out of this thing, because I'm not going to use crap. If I'm out in the mountains and something doesn't work, it's no good. I'm just carrying crap, and I don't want to carry crap. So this works. It was 20 bucks. Anytime you're going camping, get one of these, because in terms of fire safety, you can't get any easier. Look at it, it just folds up to nothing. It really does. I have had this. If you fold it up properly, you can actually put it in these pockets. But as it stands at the moment, it's back in there. The reason I like this pouch, this pack, is it has that wet pouch on the outside. Yeah. It's burning through there pretty good, isn't it? Still loads of heat in this thing. Stir this up. So you look at how long that's been burning. And it's still going on. Yeah. So, just for shits and giggles, I'll get to put that back on there. Now I know we have, it's probably what, less than half a litre of water in there. And I kid you not, I can hear it bubbling already. So I don't know how much water's in there. You don't want to heat these things if they've got no water. I know there's some water in there, but don't ever put these things on there with no water. Yep, she's bubbling pretty good. I'll put the top back on it just to increase the draft through there, just to burn off some of that that's in there. Oh yeah, I don't really need that on there. See the bit of water in there? Yeah. Yeah, don't ever put those on there with no water in. That's not good. What I need is a stick. A stirry stick. Stir up top of this, just to make sure this is all burning through. In actual fact, I wonder if I want these to fall down. Yeah. Put that one just out. Yeah. The good thing with these, yeah, these are actually pretty good. What you can do with this is this also fits in the top of there. So if you want to put a pot here with the heat coming up there, so you're boiling the water and you can cook on top of it as well. Isn't that clever? That's really clever. I like that. Then when you finish with these just come apart. I had this little pack. I can't remember what this came with. This came with something. Can't remember what came in this. But what I do is I have this Velcro. I can find an end. Where's the end? There it is. Right. This Velcro stuff, I think I've shown people this before. There's another one of those hair elastics. Yeah. This stuff, I bought the entire roll. This just goes on the top of the stuff. You can even put that in there, or you can put it on top of the hobo attachment. I like to put this on here. This Velcro stuff, if you're doing outdoor stuff, this Velcro stuff is brilliant because it has the hooks on one side and the fuzzies on the other side, so you can actually use it just for hooking stuff together like this, and it actually makes it really good. And the hair elastics, I always like to keep one of those handy in the pack. You never know when you might need it. Pot stand. Find the pots. Like if I need to move this now, I can move it around, do whatever I want with it. Very handy little addition. What I need to do now is let everything cool down. And I can start packing all this stuff up. I can head on to my next location. So, make sure that that's all of this to burn up in there. I'm going to turn that pole round so it faces the wind. See the difference? Yeah. Look at that. The wind is blowing through that hole now on the side. I can tell you now, if you turn this hole, this is the air hole for the bottom of the fire, if you turn that round into the wind, holy crap, does that get hot fast. Yeah. Like I say, if you was group camping and you had 4 or 5 people and you take one of these with you just for your hot water needs, it's absolutely fantastic. Because you could do all the water that you need for your group in there in a matter of moments. On literally, if you had a group of 4 or 5 people, you know, that's how much wood you need. That's it. Yeah. So if you're out, even if you're stick stove, you know, you're using up very small amounts of material. You're not carrying those gas canisters out in the middle of nowhere. Now there are places around here where you're not allowed fires. You're not allowed these. Yeah, because it is considered a fire. You're not allowed fires in the national parks, for instance. You wouldn't be able to use this in the national parks. However, most of the places I go are not in the national parks. Very little of this left in the forest. Yeah, very few of the places I go are in the national parks. Oh, I can get these old knees moving again. Do some more in a bit. So I'm just going to show you the fire here. Look at this. So that's been burning all that time. That's what's left in the bottom. Very, very little. You can't get no better than that. You really can't. Yeah. So I'm going to get all of this sorted, get all this tidied up, and I'll get back to you in a bit.